Hello everyone. I won't waste any time and just get right into it. For days I've seen a complete lack of reaction in regular media and on the internet in general about this. I've grown tired of waiting for someone to say something, so I decided to say it myself. This needs attention. I can't do much as an individual, but I just can't let this be forgotten before I at least try to raise my voice about it. It may do nothing at all, but at least I will be satisfied knowing that a few people heard it and now they know about it as well. Before starting, there is something that needs to be said. Just simply answering the question of how does this affect me? I don't live in Venezuela. The answer is very simple. This is the first time a government attempts a total regularization of the crypto market within its borders. You are literally unable to even do transactions without having your name on a registry. This creates a precedent. It creates an example to follow, or at least to observe, for other countries to learn on how to crack down on the crypto market happening within their borders. In a nutshell, now that it's happened here, it may happen over there. So beware. Now let's get into the thick of it. In order to understand this, we need to know what petro is first. You probably know. I will briefly explain it, but if you know already, you can skip the video now. Petro or petromoneda is the quote-unquote cryptocurrency made by the Venezuelan government. In reality, it's more of a digital bond, like I like to call it. Since it's not anonymous, its price is regulated by the government, and its value is backed in a way that conflicts with the national constitution of Venezuela, making its very existence and use in Venezuela and outside of it illegal. That is, if the government had any intention of following the law, which it never really does. It is also 100% worthless to anyone that knows absolutely anything about cryptocurrency, since it literally goes against the definition of cryptocurrency. Why is it illegal and worthless? Let's explain that. It is illegal because its value is backed by the natural resources of Venezuela. As its name implies, it's mostly backed by petroleum or oil, which would be perfectly fine and legal if only it wasn't specifically backed by the resources that have yet to be extracted from the soil, which are specifically protected by the Constitution in its Article 12. Quote, Article 12, the mineral and hydrocarbon deposits, whatever their nature, existing in the national territory, under the bed of the territorial sea, in the exclusive economic zone, and on the continental shelf, belong to the Republic, are assets of the public domain and thus are inalienable and imprescriptible. Marine coasts are public property. That basically means that you can't sell a jar of oil before you have extracted it. You can't promise a diamond as payment before you have it in your hand. And you can't say petro is backed by oil that has yet to be extracted. This is the reason why the National Assembly, the country's Congress, unanimously voted this digital bond as a flagrant violation of the Constitution, thus confirming it as completely illegal. That also partially explains why it is worthless, which we will now touch. Why exactly is it worthless? Primarily because there is absolutely no trust. You cannot trust a socialist, communist, Marxist, totalitarian regime with money. But still, there is more. It is worthless as a cryptocurrency because it cannot be mined. Its price is not determined by the market, but rather by the Venezuelan government. It is 100% not anonymous, since you have to sign in a registry with your name, ID number, address, and bank account information in order to get it. And it is extremely regularized, monitorized, and centralized. On top of that, you can only buy petro using yuans, dollars, euros, or real cryptos like Bitcoin or Ethereum. but they will only be paid. Let me rephrase this. You can only exchange petros for Venezuelan bolivars, a fiat with so much inflation that the people in Venezuela don't want it if they can help it. Additionally, in the unavoidable case of a change of regime in Venezuela, these illegal dealings with petro will, of course, not be honored by the law-abiding government. In conclusion, it has no value as a cryptocurrency. It's a digital bond designed by the Venezuelan state to fund their spending in the face of international blocking from their personal bank accounts. Petro, however, has another objective, a much darker one. For years now, the main source of economical relief for a large amount of the population in Venezuela has been the millions of Venezuelans that have fled the country to search for a better life elsewhere, sending what little money they can to their families still trapped in this socialist hellhole, in a place where a minimum wage can be $7 or less a month. And I say less because it's dropping fast due to inflation. A $20 transfer from, say, your brother that wipes floors in the US is a huge thing to happen in a week. The government, of course, has been trying to get their hands into this money. First, by using their restrictive fiat exchange controls that severely overestimate the value of the Venezuelan bolivar over the only recognized rate by the Venezuelan people, the black market rates. If someone transfers you $20 to your bank account in Venezuela, it will get turned into less than $1 because you can only take that money after it has been exchanged into the worthless Venezuelan fiat at the horrible government set exchange rates. But even so, this won't stop Venezuelans. It's just another hoop they have to jump through. So they have been tricking the system by doing their deposits into bank accounts in Colombia or Brazil, traveling to Colombia and Brazil, taking the money in cash and traveling back to Venezuela. Also, they have been using digital methods like PayPal. Recently, people in Venezuela has turned to cryptocurrency in order to have savings. Yes, you heard me right. People will actually keep their savings as cryptocurrency because it's more stable than the Venezuelan bolivar. They know that cryptocurrencies are not exactly stable, but at least they have a chance of going up at some point instead of the Venezuelan bolivar that has been on a straight downfall for years now with no chance of improvement. Using Petro as an excuse, the government plans to centralize and regularize all cryptocurrencies in order to beat yet more money out of Venezuelans. With this new law that was approved by their hand-picked parallel Congress, that is designed to change the constitution to their liking so they don't violate it as much, anyone dealing in cryptos in any way, shape, or form is now under the gaze of the regime. Let's analyze the law itself. I will leave a link in the description with the whole document for you to read at your leisure. I have highlighted things that are, in my opinion, of utmost importance, and we will go through these in the video. But if you have any further interest, I recommend you read it fully. On the Article 1, it defines what the purpose of the law is. Allow me to translate. Quote, Article 1. The objective of this constituent decree is to create and define the regulatory frame applicable to the integral system of cryptoactives as organizative and functional expression of the economical sovereignty with the firm purpose of advance the productive development of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela in a harmonic way. End of quote. If we remove some of the socialist chaff that makes 3 lines into a 5-hour long speech, it basically says that something like, we're going to say how things are done, how they must be done, and if you don't agree, you will be punished as an enemy of the state. Which is fair enough so far, but let's keep reading. Remember that I'm only highlighting the most important aspects of this whole text. Everything in this text is of significance, but I believe that these are the essence of it. I quote again. Article 3. This constituent decree has as its scope of application the goods, services, values, or activities related to the constitution, emission, organization, operation, and use of cryptoactives and sovereign cryptoactives within the national territory, as well as the purchase, sell, use, distribution, and exchange of any product or service derived from them, and other activities that are related to it. They also define sovereign cryptoactive as the government's digital bond. So whenever you read sovereign cryptoactive, it means petro, and every other real value cryptos are called just cryptoactives. That last article was also very clear. Everything under the sun and within the borders that has absolutely anything to do with cryptocurrency is regulated by this law without exceptions. But wait for it. We're yet to get to the best part. This is just the beginning. It talks about how this is for the people: inclusion, independence, cooperation, common good, social responsibility, justice, social justice, ethics, and other left-wing buzzwords that are used to pad whatever they say. Let's see, they mention that everything and everyone, including companies and individuals, are subject to this. Okay, everyone is subject to this law, without exception. And they start defining what will be some kind of ministry for the control of cryptocurrencies in Venezuela called SUNACRIP. Quote, the National Superintendency of Cryptoactives and Related Activities, SUNACRIP. I will not read the whole thing again. We'll just call it SUNACRIP from now on. Will be attached to the sectoral vice presidency with the competence in matters of economy. With the competence of matters of economy, and will exercise the broadest powers within the legal and constitutional framework to regulate the creation, issuance, organization, operation, and use of cryptoactives. Consequently, it will regulate the operation of exchange houses and other financial services in cryptoactives, as well as the activities associated with digital mining. So, what I said before, it's the Ministry for the Control of Crypto, with the faculty of investigating you and arresting you if they so believe necessary. On Article 11, we can read what are the specific duties of this ministry, among which some are worth pointing out over the rest. Quote, 3. Coordinate and monitor the records of digital miners, exchange institutions, and other financial services in cryptoactive and digital intermediation in cryptocurrencies and cryptoactive. Well, they have a list. So much for anonymity. Quote, 5. Ensure the fulfillment of the integral system of cryptoactives to provisions that may be applicable to the prevention of money laundering, drug trafficking, financing of terrorism, and proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. End of quote. I really don't need to remind you how liberal this government is with the word terrorist. They will call anyone that's not on their payroll terrorist. They will call opposition parties terrorist organizations. So, yeah. Quote, 7. Exercise control and supervision of negotiation activities, creation, emission, transfer, commercialization, and exchange of cryptoactives that take place in the territory of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. End of quote. Begs to wonder if they really understand what cryptocurrency is, and that it's not meant to be centralized or trackable, but it's more of the same with number 3. No more anonymity unless you wish to be criminalized. Quote, 9. Authorize the entities dedicated to the exchange of cryptoactive, digital wallets, coins used in the exchange houses, digital mining activities constituted in the national territory that wish to operate abroad or those constituted abroad that wish to operate in a national territory. Okay, so basically you can only do anything with cryptos if you are quote-unquote state approved. Quote 11. Establish, fix, and collect the public prices that correspond to the services and activities of digital intermediation of cryptoactives and those applicable for registration procedures. Free market? Nope, none of that here. The price of everything is set by the state, period. Quote 12. Grant licenses for the use of electronic equipment destined to digital mining and its different algorithms. Okay, so you need a permit to use mining equipment, and you need a permit to use electricity to mine. And by the way, people that has been arrested usually are arrested under ridiculous charges. For example, just to quote one that is relevant to this, energetic terrorism. Yeah, energetic terrorism for mining. That should also show you how liberal this government is with the word terrorist. Quote 14. Act as an auxiliary body of the justice system in relation to the matter of cryptoactives and related activities. Quote 15. Instruct the procedure ex officio or, at the request of third parties, apply sanctions that may arise to those who exercise the mining without the required authorization or fail to comply with the formalities established in this constituent decree related to the integral system of cryptoactives. Here we go. We're getting to the thick of it. It's right here. Okay. Most of the following text talks about how the ministry will be founded, where they will get their money to operate, which also includes using the assets seized from people that is arrested to finance itself, and also talks about setting prices and taxes for doing operations related to cryptocurrencies. Let's see. Chapter 3 talks about the registry system. That should be interesting. How are they going to tag and track everyone like cattle? Let's read. Quote, Article 29. The SUNACRIP, I'm not going to read all of that, will create the necessary registries to systemize the information corresponding to digital miners, exchange houses, other financial services, and cryptoactivists, and the intermediation of cryptoactives, in which those who carry out direct and related or indirect activities with the cryptoactives and their negotiations in the national and international market will participate. For this purpose, it will dictate the corresponding regulation. Okay, sound bad? Wait, there is more. Quote, Article 30. Individuals and legal entities that intend to carry out any of the activities indicated in the previous article, as well as those interested in providing services or being suppliers of goods in some of the stages of development in the activities regulated by the SUNACRIP, are required to register. I'm really not sure. I'm not sure that there is any more space in Anonymity's coffin to drive another nail in, but sure, let's give it a go. Quote, Article 33. Through a ruling issued, that means it has yet to be issued, the SUNACRIP will establish the public prices applicable to the registration system, to the exchange operations, as well as to the services provided and other considerations generated. End of quote. fixed prices for cryptocurrencies and crypto-based services. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Not, counterintuitive at all. Quote, Article 34. The Sunacrip, through the competent intendancy and making use of the most suitable technical means, will inspect the activities of the cryptoactive sector to determine the truth of the facts that allow to know the compliance or breach of the duties established by this constituent decree. It will also determine those responsible, the degree of responsibility, and if appropriate, the damage caused. It will be able to rely on competent public organisms when the possible affectation of security, of environmental protection, of prices, and of public services is presumed. Okay. Oh, by the way, apparently, according to them, the Venezuelan government is ecological and green, but that is just an excuse to make the people in Venezuela use as little power as possible and to withstand brownouts and blackouts throughout the year, because they cannot admit that the electrical grid is in a state of complete abandon and that they cannot maintain it anymore, because that would mean that socialism failed. And at the same time, well, pretending to be green and ecological, they are literally strip mining the Amazon, turning it from green and lush to tan and muddy in the search of gold to fill their pockets. Oh, and by the way, if you use too much power, you are, what was it? An electro-terrorist? Was it? Was it an electro-terrorist? Yeah, that sounds better actually. Electro-terrorist. Sounds cool. And you will be punished, by the way, for that. You will be punished. Quote, Article 37. If during the inspection, the officer, the officer, male, or the officer, female, yeah, by the way, they do this a lot. There is a lot of gender segregation, I think, in the language they use, even though the word officer in Spanish is gender neutral. No, they have to include, one that sounds feminine for whatever reason. Okay. If during the inspection the officer, male or female, detects indications of non-compliance with the obligations provided for this constituent decree, and there are elements that allow presuming that serious injury or difficult to repair damage can be made to the community, he or she may adopt and execute during the same act preventive measures designed to prevent further violation of the rules governing the matter. In accordance with the applicable legal system, these measures may consist of 1. Seize. Suspension of licenses, permits, or authorizations issued by Sunacrip. Any other provisions in the legal system to prevent the violation of the rights of citizens. When the confiscation order is ordered on mining equipment, the superintendency will safeguard the respective assets, which, if the measure is final, may be disposed of for social purposes through a recent act, which the superintendent may sign for that purpose. Okay. So basically, if I think as an officer you're doing something bad, you're under arrest, and all of your farm is now belong to us. Basically. Alright. Moving forward, they also mention that you may refuse to allow seize to happen, but you cannot stop it. You can just say, like if you were being force-fed, you can just say, I will eat it, but I will not enjoy it. Additionally, the last paragraph of Article 41, which talks about the retention of mining equipment, it's a kick in the groin. Quote, expenses caused by the retention of goods will be paid by the infringing party or the infringing party. Again, male or female. The infringing party, male or female, unless it's returned in the cases provided for in the law. Okay. And yes, I know the male-female thing is annoying, and they do it a lot. In fact, they do it so much that the Royal Academy for Spanish Language quotes the Venezuelan Constitution as one of the most excessive use of female connotations in an official document known to exist in the Spanish language. There you go. Fun fact. Alright, now let's get into the deep side of this pool of shit. Chapter number 5, titled, quote, About the Infractions and Sanctions. End of quote. Here we go. Let's discuss punishment. Quote, Article 42. Those who operate or perform any type of activity related to the constitution, issuance, organization, operation, and use of sovereign cryptoactives or cryptoactives, including mining, without the due authorization of the governing body and in breach of other formalities required by this constituent decree will be sanctioned with an equivalent of 100 to 300 sovereign cryptoactives. Okay, so let's say you are mining with your computer at home, which a lot of people do. You don't have a mining rig, you just have your computer and you're mining with it. Say that you get caught for whatever reason and you are fined with up to 300 petro. How much is that exactly? Well, let's look it up. Okay, so apparently the price is $59.70, which is from a few days ago, so it's current. Taking into account that the average Venezuelan makes some $6 a month at most. If you get fined for 300 petro, they will demand that you pay 300 times 59.7 equals $17,910. Yes, that seems fair. Or they may rule that you can pay in Venezuelan bolivars. All right, okay. So let's see. Remember that minimum wage in Venezuela in bolivars is 18,000 per month. Okay, 18,000 per month. The value of petro in Venezuelan bolivars is 196,957.46 bolivars. That's quite a lot. Okay, almost 200,000. Minimum wage is 18,000. So if you multiply that by 300, you get 59,087,238 bolivars in a fine. So let's assume that the person fined has minimum wage. This person has to work for 273 and a half years in order to pay this fine without spending any of that money. That just goes straight to the fine. 273 and a half years. That sounds fair, right? Perfectly fair. Sounds realistic as well. Oh, but wait. It gets better. Quote, Article 43. Those that without the proper authorization or exceeding the one obtained access, intercept, interfere, or use a system that uses information technologies related to the comprehensive system of cryptoactives will be punished with imprisonment from 1 to 3 years and an equivalent fine of 50 to 100 sovereign cryptoactives. And there you go. If you do absolutely anything related with crypto, if you use a web page that is about cryptocurrency, you will go to jail for up to 3 years, and you will be fined for up to $6,000. Ah, but there's still more. Quote, Article 46. Whoever imports, manufactures, distributes, sells, or uses equipment, devices, programs, or performs some type of financing for terrorism. Let's remember how loosely they use terrorism again. Remember, anyone not under payroll, anyone that says, no, you're wrong, they are terrorists. Okay? Drug trafficking or money laundering, with the purpose of assigning them to violate or eliminate the security of any system that uses information technologies, or the one that offers or provides services destined to fulfill the same purposes related to the integral system of cryptoactives, will be punished with imprisonment of 1 to 3 years and a fine of 50 to 100 sovereign cryptoactives. Okay, so you cannot use the competition. You have to go exclusively to state-approved exchanges, and if you use the competition, you will be jailed. Article 47. The pecuniary sanctions, that means monetary sanction, referred to in this chapter may be honored in cryptoactive or sovereign cryptoactive, of course, when so determined by the superintendency. So, you can pay in real bitcoins and real altcoins, or in a fake digital bond that is worthless. And there you have it. That is pretty much the meaty stuff. The important aspect of this new law now in Venezuela, traditional crypto mining and crypto trading is a criminal activity. Once more, the whole document is in the description. It is in Spanish, but you can translate it using Google, and the translation is mostly okay. It makes mistakes, but the message gets across. Let me know what you think about it, and personally, I think it's a total disaster that will be self-contained to this country, as it will serve as a terribly bad example of what to do to control cryptos. I don't think you can. And these are the attempts by a terrible government to get their hands on some funding. And since the extreme economical crisis in Venezuela has made it the country with the largest amount of crypto flow in the American continent, they are now trying to tap into that money. Also, please leave your opinion and advices on how to secure your identity on the internet, how to mine in an anonymous way, how to keep the government crooks from finding you and stealing from you. Okay? Just share ways to keep yourself as safe as possible, and also keep in mind that free options are preferred because 80% of the population in Venezuela is under the poverty line. So keep that in mind. Thank you very much for listening. See you next time.